Hello people, and before we start today's episode of part 38 of the build guide, I just wanted to give a quick shout out to Calvin S, who tweeted me a bunch of pictures from his city on console a couple of days ago. So hey man, I recently stumbled across your channel, wanted to show you my farm so far. So he's reached up to 13k a week and he's only at 4,800 population. But let's just take a little quick flick through some of these screenshots. So you can see, he's playing on Marin Bay. He has the old style interchange here that we first had. And he's built a really cool looking interchange. Kind of, with the on and off ramps. And then his forest area looks really cool as well. And then you can see how he's taken his direction in the island. It's really cool. And it's thanks for sending me this, dude. It was really nice to see someone who is following the build guide closely and how this map used to look before we got our hands on it. The only thing I would suggest is as your city grows and your island grows, you're probably going to get a mad amount of traffic building up at this interchange here, at this crossroads, because you have your farm here. I can see they have their own little entry and exit back on here, it looks like. But with all the residences, as your city grows, you might get a little bit of trouble there. And you can see he's also used the elevated walkways to help people up and over his roads, which looks really cool. There's one through here as well. So thanks a bunch for that, buddy. If you guys want me to kind of feature your cities that are kind of based on the build guide, my Twitter link is in the description. Please just tweet me some screenshots as Calvin has here. And maybe we can start featuring some of these at the start of each episode. But I thought that was really cool. So thanks a lot for that, dude. Hello, people. And welcome back to part 38 of Burgusia, the Cities Skylines build guide. And for the first time in one of our Cities Skylines episode, we are not actually in Cities Skylines. We are in Google Earth, and this is because today's episode we are going to be working on kind of the crowning jewel of Burgusia's kind of education district. We're going to be starting the university that people travel from all over the world to visit, that kind of real high establishment type thing. And to do that, rather than just kind of building, we're going to be taking a look at a couple of real high-end American universities and kind of figuring out how they are laid out and how they kind of work from an infrastructure and educational point of view. So this, first of all, is the University of Rochester in New York. And we can kind of see, we're looking at a lot of kind of real nice buildings, real impressive road layouts here. Let's see if we can get a nice top-down view. So let's take this here. We can see, we can replicate this with the baseball park and the track and field stadium. We've also got kind of the main administration building here right down the middle with a bunch of paths in the middle. This would be super easy to replicate in cities. So, the kind of take-home point from today's episode is look at Google Earth. Google Earth is your best friend when you kind of look at all this stuff. There's a YouTuber called Prez who kind of really, bigs up Google Earth in his videos and makes sure that you guys use it and look at it because it is an amazingly useful tool for Cities Skylines. So University of Rochester looks pretty nice. Maybe let's take a look at UC Berkeley in California. Let's zoom all the way out as Google Earth takes us over to the other side of the country. Here we go. Wonderful. So you can see that UC Berkeley has a lot more of a liberal arts college feel to it. There's a lot of different kind of little wooded areas in here. You've got kind of these like mosaic, almost orangey red tiles on top of the buildings. And it even still has kind of like a baseball stadium here. There's a track and field stadium as well. And there's a whole bunch of different stuff. Let's kind of get a layout of how this actually sits within a city. So obviously UC Berkeley is very much within the kind of very dense city kind of landscape. It's super high dense, lots of grid patterns around here. So factor that into your city build. Do you want it to be like Rochester where it's a little more rural, it has a nice river, lots of parkland around it, or do you want it to kind of sit within a city block? There's also got a big ass stadium over here as well. It looks like a big football stadium, which is pretty cool. But take a look at Google Earth. Just Google the top 10 universities in your particular country, or the country of the style that you're trying to build in, and then just kind of take it away and look at them from the top down. Get the nice 3D view on and see what you can kind of draw from here. You know, make some nice little tree patterns along the paths here, and you've got some nice big trees right up against the side of the buildings. Google Earth is your best friend. Go ahead and use it, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So let's dive into cities. Hey guys, and welcome back to Burgusia and Cities Skylines. So we are over here, right up in one of the tallest mountain peaks in Burgusia, and right on the other side of the map. So we are looking over everything we have built so far. So we have the nice high-rise downtown over here, Burgusia Island and forestry, and the bigger cargo port over here. And a couple of live streams ago, we actually hit the final milestone, and this unlocked all the tiles. Now this is because of the 25 tile mod, obviously only available to PC users. So for console players that are following this guide up until this point, obviously you guys are unfortunately stuck into only the 9x9 tiles. PC players can download this mod on the workshop. It's just called the 25 tile mod, and it unlocks the rest of the map for us to play with. And kind of looking down at this area, we've only barely even built half of what we want to build in Burgusia. And that makes me happy because we still have so much more to do and so much more character to add into this city. Got a whole bunch of national park to expand. We finally have access to the external rail networks over here. This is looking really cool. And just so much more to build. And you obviously saw that today we are going to be working on our crowning jewel university, the campus that people travel from miles around to come and study at. And I want this place to have kind of a nice waterside front as well as easy access to the highway. And really the only point on the map that kind of matches that right now is down here. And I think that's where we're going to go ahead and build it. And I also want to have an accompanying, I can't say that word, like an accompanying, why can't I say that? An accompanying town to fit with the university as well. So we're going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to draw out all this land. We're going to terraform a little bit. We're going to bring in some nice kind of big areas to work with. I'm going to push our mountainside back here a little bit as well. Just kind of take all this away. We'll soften this out so it isn't kind of as harsh. Let's also bring it around here as well. So obviously now we can expand this town. We can link it up together with some nice little kind of countryside roads. And let's just go ahead and soften this out so it isn't quite as harsh. Just get a nice bit of a ruler along there. I think that's not too extreme anymore as the map heads off into the mountains. And obviously we are going to flood because we've just terraformed. So I think that from kind of these rocks here as my general boundary, up until probably the bridge, I'm going to actually sink the highway. We're going to put it underground. So let's go ahead and do that. This is the first time we've really kind of sunken a highway. So let's pause the game so our city doesn't totally collapse under the fact it has no southern rail connection, road connection. Let's bring it up to about here. And that seems like a good point to me. So we're going to come down again. All our snapping is on, and of course we'll need to wait for the water to subside, which should be any moment now. So yeah, let me know if you guys are excited for seeing the rest of this map fleshed out. We all have a whole bunch of land here. Looking at our natural resources, we've got some oil industry that we can build over here, as well as over here as well. We haven't touched any oil yet, so it'd be cool to see an oil industry level up. We've got a whole bunch of ore around here as well, which I guess is classed as coal. And there's a really nice opportunity here for a dam, which I'm really looking forward to building. I never really use them too much in my cities, but we've got a nice downward flow coming out of here. And that's going to be really cool to kind of build a dam feature around that and really kind of detail that up to make it look like quite high security kind of, little build. So let's kind of restart our bridge here. Let's bring this guy down, obviously to the correct level. There we go. So we're nice and level. And then you can go underground by hitting your page up and down keys. Well, I think it's the top and bottom D-pad for our console friends. And then again, that's all the right way. And then we'll come back from this guy and hook him up there as well. Make sure that we keep our directions facing the right way too. So just by sinking the highway, we're going to give ourselves a whole bunch of kind of new land to work with. Let's bring this guy up and then hook him up to there. And then everyone should be facing the right direction. Yep, we have no direction error markers. So we are good to go. So we can see right here, we have a whole bunch of this big clear land to work with, and that's going to be really cool to play with. Okay, so let's kind of clear out a bunch of these trees. Let's get rid of them all. We are going to have trees in this area, of course. It's going to be a really nice wooded area. We'll have some nice ones around the university campus itself as well. But for right now, I just want to go ahead and make sure we have a nice clear template to work with. Now let's make sure that we are as tidy as possible with our terraforming. Let's bring this guy right out. Let's actually terraform from here, just so we're as level as possible. Let's keep the game playing so the water continues to disappear. And then it will come out in a nice straight edge. And then again, just so it looks a little more natural, let's go ahead and just tidy up these slopes, just so it looks as though it hasn't kind of been terraformed by us. And I think that's a little more natural looking. Let's have a nice flow down into the river. And we'll be definitely using the river as a feature as well. But this is going to give us such a mass of land to play with. So obviously people need to get over here, so we're going to have to create a couple of little highway entrances and exits, which is fine. So from here up to there, let's just bring that out. And then again from that same bridge point, we can just kind of have a look from here. So let's bring this guy again similarly kind of up to here, and we should be able to bring him in. There we go. It's actually the opposite way around. Let's make sure that they're facing the right direction. Okay, so kind of the mainstay, of course, is going to be our kind of main road that everything's going to be snapping onto in this area. So I want it to be kind of still level with the highway, and that's pretty much in the middle. So what I'm doing there is you can still see very faintly the road guidelines of the highway are actually still visible just to the right and left hand sides of our circle here. So I'm just going to be snapping onto them, so I'm staying pretty much in the middle. And then I think we'll just go ahead and draw this all the way down there for the moment. It seems like a fairly sensible point. And then we'll just go ahead and hook up our highway ramps. So obviously for people that are entering the map, they can continue on the highway underground and then emerge out here and continue on their merry way. However, for those that are wanting to stop and get off at the university, then they have the option to do that as well. So just a nice simple entry and exit ramp, and probably going to delete this road to a point here as well. So the road just splits off and then they can enter and exit as they see fit. And then again we'll do the same thing over here. We can still see that we're pretty much bang in the middle. Let's delete a couple of these rocks so we have some more room of the highway. So So, you know, the tree line is focused right through the middle, so everything is going to keep nice and symmetrical for us. And then again, we'll just kind of draw up here, so we snap on. Again, to keep them nice and level. There we go. And then again, we'll draw up to the side of the road. So thanks for all the support on the live streams recently. You guys seem to be really enjoying them. We've had some really nice busy ones. So it's good to see that people are actually interested in the live streams on this channel. And yeah, so thanks a bunch for that. Okay, so now we have some nice little highway entrance and exits back for this part of town. And we will also have connections through here as well. And possibly through the farmland. We will wait and see. And I imagine at some point there will be quite a large bridge crossing this river, but we are still a ways off of that yet. So obviously we are painting a new university campus area. So of course we need to paint out an actual university campus. Let's go ahead and bring this all the way down up until the road. And we'll probably have it up until here as well. We'll probably delete this bit of farm area. We don't really need it. And obviously we now have new places to go and farm. Now the map has opened up entirely. So it would be nice to start a new farm area somewhere across the map. Okay, so let's kind of map out the road network of our university campus and how we actually want this thing to look. So we have a huge area to play with. And that's because, you know, the university campus is going to be a pretty big thing itself. So I want it to kind of sit adjacent from the town. So let's go for... let's kind of have a look through there. Okay, so we're sitting... so from the highway junction up until this T-junction here, we are 360. So let's make sure we mirror that on the other side. 360 is starting from around about there. And then let's bring him up to there for right now. Okay, so that's a nice wide space for kind of the centre of the campus to sit. We will be using these spaces as well, but kind of, you know, for the campus's central point, this is going to serve as a fairly nice area. Let's knock it back a little bit, and we'll... I don't want this to be kind of totally symmetrical. Just kind of a little bit. Let's kind of come up to here. So we're curving by 9. Do the same there as well. Let's get a nice little curve. How are we doing for terrain here? Actually, it's still a little bit janky. Let's just delete that road back and make sure that we are as straight as possible. Let's level this out, just so we're not totally over it. We don't get any kind of weird formations for our buildings. I think that seems to be a little more sensible. Let's bring this road down as well. Nice curve, and then up to a point like that. So that's going to give us a nice big central zone in which to work. Don't worry about these trees here. When the grass regrows across this part of the land that we terraformed, the trees will come back. So it's not too much to worry about. Okay, so from this point here up until this point we're at 6560. So I guess half of that is going to be kind of 3280, I guess. So kind of about there is the halfway point of the road. Pretty much looks like it. Okay, so I want to kind of come out here just to kind of each snap node point next to the side of it, and then delete that one so we have a nice kind of central column. So I want kind of, you know, the main building, the administration building, to be, you know, the nice entry point in here. So I'm going to come out by 5. And that's going to give us a nice little kind of straight road to place the campus area, the campus building on. Okay, so University Administration. This is going to be the University Campus area. We are still yet to build a liberal arts college, which will be a fun project. But for right now, this is going to be the big boy University of Burgusia, and it's going to have a really nice theme to it. So these city university buildings look really cool. The art team did a great job on these. All the textures and the little trees and paths around them, it just looks so good. I'm a real big fan of these university campus buildings. Totally different style to the University of Technology, which of course is the only university that we have built in this area so far. So let's go ahead and give a bit of a general kind of water coverage here. It's coming from this point, and then over here as well. So we'll probably take this up to a couple levels today, and it'll definitely be more than a two-parter, but we'll just see how far we get. So let's carry on mapping out our university road layout. So I do want a couple of roads within the campus itself, not too many, but just some kind of main arteries that are going to carry people around. So this was 800, so let's go for half of that. Let's go for 400 here. And just a little curved road, and then a junction here as well. So it's not totally symmetrical. You can see some themes repeating, but I don't want it to be bang on perfect kind of road for road reflection on each side of the campus area. So let's get some buildings placed in first of all. Obviously, from our University of Technology episode all the way back in like episode 5 or 6, maybe even later than that. I think it was definitely before episode 10. We have our university dormitories, study halls, groundskeeping, different types of club, some much more kind of more advanced buildings over here that go ahead and affect the services in your city. It's all stuff that we've worked with before. So let's go ahead and kind of place some of these in. So for university areas, we need to hit student level and campus attractiveness levels, and also to generate academic works as well. So let's go ahead and place in a couple of these buildings. So the dormitories, I think we're going to have one right in front of the road, just about here. And what we'll do is when we start building the town on the other side of it as well, which we will work on a little bit today, we're going to kind of have a little like mini town centre around here, a little bit of commercial, train station maybe, stuff like that. So let's get a few more of these in. Maybe let's have one in the adjacent corner over here, and then one maybe on this side as well. Let's try and line it up with this road so we can get some nice paths going through up to about there. Okay, let's have a look at a study hall maybe. Kind of want this guy to be encompassed by a road, so we'll place him facing the main road at the moment, but I don't want him to stay there, so I'm going to go ahead and grab another road through here, and then I know that when I can just turn this around, such as this, we know that he's going to be perfectly slotted in, and that's going to give us nice things. You can see I'm placing things very far apart at the minute, and that's really because I want, it's nice. I want lots of kind of open fields in this campus. You would have seen from the Google Earth bit at the start of this video that we're creating something pretty big here. It's not just a kind of a small little kind of crappy project. It's going to be something really nice. And right now it looks like crap, but don't worry. We always manage to pull it back and kind of make it look a little bit nicer. So okay, let's have a club on this side of the road as well. And then of course, obviously, we have our big School of Law. So this thing costs $2,080 a week to upkeep and $133,000 to place. And students get internships in the office of the city's prosecutor, providing legal counsel to citizens. Crime rate and police department upkeep is reduced throughout the city. So this is going to help make our kind of crime prevention units a lot more effective, which is going to be sweet. I think we're going to have this again, it's a really big important building. Let's take a little look at this here again. Again, fantastic job from Paradox on the artwork here. It just looks so good. And you know, it's a big central building. I want it to have kind of a nice, big important path around it, and lots of different trees, and you know, just give it that nice big important feeling really. Okay, let's go ahead and hook these guys up with some power. First of all, I do want them to have some power at some point. So again, we'll run this guy adjacent to the highway, and we should be able to cross here, and we'll hook into the farmland. And obviously we'll need a bunch of temporary lines here until we get everything hooked up. Let's get him into there, over into here, and then here as well. Obviously, as we unlock buildings, we'll be able to make sure that the power sinks through to everybody else. So let's have a look at how we're doing for... So we've hit the campus attractiveness, that's great, and the students will come in as the university just hangs around for a while, and then obviously we need to hit 2 academic works. Let's give them some academic chance creation, and then we'll grant them one as well. So that's going to give us, we're spending £2 grand on academic staff, and that's going to give us an extra base chance of 31% of generating one at the end of each term. Yeah, so now we just kind of have to wait for that to level up once it hits the end of the academic year. So for right now it's looking super basic and a little bit kind of boring, but let's kind of work on a couple of little details around here. Okay, so we're kind of focusing on the town. Let's kind of get some roads coming out here. So we'll have one here, possibly one here as well. Want to kind of make sure that our tiles are going to be as close as possible. Maybe have one through here, out here as well, along here. So this is going to kind of have like a small town vibe. You know, it's not going to be anything too major. It's just kind of a little accompanying town for the university. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this out all the way up to here. This is just going to be a new district that we can maybe apply some policies to. We'll see how it goes. And then up here as well. Probably down to here. Okay. So I mentioned that I kind of wanted a little bit of a mini town centre around here, so that is what I'm going to go ahead and place in. Let's go for some nice 2-lane roads with grass. And then we'll kind of come out like this, and across. So that's nice and symmetrical in terms of the dormitory at the front here. Okay, and then I definitely want some public transport in this area. So a train line is definitely going to be the way to go. So it isn't symmetrical at the moment. You can see, you know, we are just a square off. So I do want it to be symmetrical. So let's go ahead and draw it out by one more. Again, you know, don't forget we can always replace the dormitory, so it's, you know, that doesn't have to snap on, but the train station does. Let's come out here by 11. Okay, so let's try it by 10. Just keep playing with your buildings until you find a nice happy medium. Let's actually knock that over by one more. Let's keep playing with it until you find something that you're happy with. And there we go. So now, you know, if we're looking at it, essentially, it's the dormitory is slightly off. So I'm just going to go ahead and bring this in just a touch more. And that's going to be a nice little kind of central point. So again, with the train line, let's go ahead and hook this up into our city lines. I'm just going to follow the main road here. I'm happy to have the crossings. You know, it's a small town feel. I don't want too many, you know, kind of big bridges around here. And then we'll just hook up to the National Rail. That's going to be up there, and then we'll also have a train line that splits off here. Hooks up there. Again, let's make sure that when you're playing with your train lines, that these lines aren't broken. I'll show you an example of when they are broken. So if we kind of go on some very kind of hard angles, of course I'm struggling to replicate that now. There you go. So you can see the angle is too severe, so the tracks will break, and that means that a train won't be able to pass over it. So just lots of nice long smooth curves with your rail lines and you should be okay. And then for this line here, let's see, so they come in and then I want them to come down here. Okay, so let's just have a little look. So they're arriving from the downtown, they're crossing into Braithwaite, stopping here, heading out, and then coming down into the university town, and then they are heading out back into the city, so everyone is fine. Of course we now need to hook this back up to the road. Let's give this guy some connection so people can actually use the train station. So you know, this is a good example of public transport. If we wanted to get people from the downtown over here, you know, buses aren't ideal, monorail wouldn't be ideal, trams definitely not. Trains, pretty much perfect. You know, you're travelling such a long distance. And we can just about see the downtown over there. Nice skyline developing. It's always nice to see in Cities Skylines. Okay, so I think I'm actually going to have some of these roads as cycle lanes. Not too many of them. We'll have this one as well, maybe. And the one at the edge. Just so we can get a little bit of a cycle highway going here. Again, it's nothing too crazy. And then we'll have that one. Again, we'll continue that cycle highway theme. And then this guy is going to come all the way along here, up to there. And then the rest of these kind of inner roads can be grassy banking. Let's bring it along here. That guy can stay as he is. So again, we're getting lots of nicely tight packed in squares here. Let's have him come up to there. Okay, so that's going to give us a nice kind of base layout for the town here. Let's go ahead and draw in a whole bunch of water pipes. It's going to help everyone stay hydrated. Let's bring some down here as well. Okay, let's have a look at the university. Again, so we've hit the first academic year, and now we just need to wait for one more academic year production, and then we'll be hitting level 2. So you can kind of see, you know, how it's going to take us a couple of episodes to get this thing finished, and we will definitely be revisiting it. And I'll probably say that we'll have the rail line actually cross the main road, and then he can almost just head off into the distance. I do want some varsity sports in the university as well, so let's bring some of that into account. Let's have a look at the landscape here. So kind of looking at it from the highway, I think I'd rather the big important university buildings like the School of Science and Medicine sit along this side. So maybe let's have a look. If we drew in a road as far down as we possibly could, let's have a look at some varsity sports buildings. So I don't want, you know, like a big American football stadium. That's a little too much. I think we'll go for these smaller buildings. So definitely a baseball park in here. We'll probably leave a gap free against the road as well, so we can have a path running through there. And then similarly with the probably the track and field stadium as well. Let's kind of have him flow there. Obviously these guys will need water as well. Spin them through, that should satisfy to an extent, I believe. There we go. Now, so because these are in the campus area, they will now become kind of the official stadiums of the university. So you see they are the Burgusia Institute Chirpers, and then in here as well. I don't want Burgusia Institute, we'll go for something simple. Would help if I could spell university, of course. There we go. So the University of Burgusia, you can see they changed the University of Burgusia Chirpers, and you know, these will become kind of the official varsity sports stadiums of the campus. And then there's also a new tab that appears in here as well, where you can set ticket prices, you can do kind of cheerleading budgets and coaching staff. You kind of get, you know, let's go for the Spartans, and we'll make them kind of black, the black Spartans. This would be cool. You know, there's a whole little mini customization things you can do with them, just to kind of, you know, make them a little more interesting. Let's have a look at some policies for this. So we'll go for Parks and Rec, Education Boost, definitely. We'll go for City Planning, Encourage Biking, definitely. High-tech housing. Let's have a look what else we have. Probably that'll do for right now, I believe. And yeah, we'll just leave that in for there. So let's get some very small buildings in right now. I definitely want a whole bunch of commercial up along the front here. Make sure we get that in. Obviously, we need to bear in mind noise pollution from the railway station. So pretty much anything past these first initial tiles here on the side is a little bit out of bounds. You know, we might be pushing it here. Let's go for there. And then again, probably here is about the limit we can have our residential up along here. So with that in mind, we'll just have a bunch of commercial along each side. Again, we can probably squeeze in another block of residential along there. And probably here as well. We'll try go for that. And then with the back of this train station, go for a playground, maybe a couple of bouncy castle parks, and maybe a dog park opposite that as well. So just creating little small neighborhoods. You know, this is a great tip for creating a neighborhood. Just let's turn all my snapping off here so we can do some nice patterns. You know, create kind of the center of the neighborhood first. You know, you see mine is the train station here, and then you can take it in any direction you like, really. Whether or not you want to stick to the grid pattern is up to you. I'm just going to use a couple of little central parks here. And then they're also going to help level up our initial buildings here as well. So you're going to be nice big 4x4 blocks of zoning. And we're going to get some nice buildings in here as well. So let's have a little look here about how we're starting to look. And a whole bunch of people in here. Lots of people coming in. Are these all students? Oh no, they're all heading to the baseball park. Okay, that's why. Yeah, so obviously no, these two stadiums will attract vast amounts of people. Just because, you know, they're a stadium, they hold thousands at a time. And interesting to see that, you know, they're all choosing to walk, which is good. No, it's not too far away for them to choose to drive. 215 in a week, which is crazy busy. Let's have a look at these train lines real quickly to make sure we're coping with the numbers. yeah, still plenty of room on each train, so there's no need to worry about adding more lines onto there yet. And again, let's give these guys some more basic services, and we'll give them a medical clinic, seems safe, obviously a fire station. We'll keep him relatively close to the highway, probably up to there. And then of course a police station as well. Again, we'll keep this on the corner. How are we doing for other education buildings actually? Yeah, so we could do with an elementary school. Let's have this over here as well. Right in the corner. And then also a high school availability as well. Let's have this right over on this side. So we'll see how that starts to develop. And we'll continue with our zoning. Again, nice big 4x4 squares. And that's going to give us lots of nice even shaped housing. You see we're not getting any kind of awkward sized smaller houses generating in. And that's going to be really, really sweet. So already we can see this new university town slowly starting to come together. And we'll definitely be coming back here. And I think now is going to be a good time to go ahead and dive into detailing time-lapse. I'm going to map out some mini paths and maybe design an entrance for the university campus here. And also just carry on zoning as we go ahead. But we'll definitely be coming back here and continuing to develop. So this is what I was talking about right here. Don't like you. I want a 4x4 house here. Don't want any weird shaped houses, just nice big 4x4s. And is that a house by itself? Oh, it is. That's so unusual. Okay, let's delete that one then. And then we'll have a 4x4 there. Okay. So I'm going to dive into detailing time-lapse, guys. And we'll be right back. Okay guys, that is going to do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, a like below is very much appreciated. Equally as much if you didn't enjoy it, please feel free to leave a dislike as well. Stick around for the rest of this outro tag and hopefully you guys can see how I want this area to carry on developing, and we're going to get a really nice university town building along here. We'll definitely come back here for another part, and don't forget to tune in for the live stream tomorrow on Sunday where we'll do some more detailing as well. But really nice start, and hopefully you can see how this big grand campus is also going to develop alongside the town as well. But yeah, that's it. I'll leave you alone. Sorry this ended up being such a long one, but yeah, hopefully you guys still enjoyed it nonetheless. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.